What's poppin', everyone? Nathan coming back at you with another AAA, almost any ability, Pokemon Showdown live. Try to say that 10 times fast. I was an idiot last video and didn't realize quite how popular this tier was for everyone. I think everyone loves to see the crazy and wacky sets that can be introduced when you play this kind of Pokemon. I told you all to leave a comment if you had a cool set that you wanted me to feature and use in the live. I thought I'd have maybe 20 to 30 to show today. I got about 200 comments on that video and about another, 20 comments on this poll I posted asking whether people want to see me Nuzlocke it or just narrow it down to my 20 favorites. As you can see from that poll, luckily I don't have to cover 120 Pokemon today. We're instead going to be just talking about my 20 favorites today. I also, there's an AAA forum page where all the new stuff in the tier is talked about and announced and stuff like that. For example, just yesterday, Genesect banned. Not a huge surprise. I was a pretty broken Pokemon. When I came back to this tier this last week, kind of raised my eyebrow at first. I'm sure along with many others going, that guy's still around, huh? Okay. But not any longer. Makes sense. But people were also shouting out, UT was rather the person who was talking to in the tier in the first place. And he gave me a couple sets there too. So great. There's another like 20 to talk about, but they had some heat, so I'm glad. So we'll get into it here. I'm just going to talk about my favorites. I'll hopefully try to use them and throw them in a team and a quick team build at the end of the video. Not sure it's going to work, but I will also quickly scroll through all of these just because I don't want to just show people who did get featured. I loved almost every one of these sets. So, if you want to pause and take a look at these, absolutely help yourselves. I've even got my A shirt here. So we're ready for the AAA with the dude wearing the A shirt. Okay, so I'll just, scroll quickly through. There's a lot of repeats too, of course, which I tried to account for. And I really did copy down every single comment left on my video on this, and I'll continue to do so in all my AA videos. I'm hoping I can continue to feature, even if I don't get 20 new sets every video, I'm hoping to continue to feature around that number with every video I do, and maybe I get some heat video ideas out of it. That's the idea at least. And then here's 3 here, and we'll show the forum post afterwards. Hydreigon, I think earlier there was one with a Mega Launcher. That's a favorite of mine. I've also mentioned that, I love team building this tier on my stream because people always have such crazy ideas. So I've actually, I'm no stranger to the Harvest Kamo. Let me just say, I know what I'm talking about. Chandelure saw a couple cool sets. That's a Pokemon that just seems ripe for this tier too. It's got crazy offensive stats, a crazy offensive typing. Just the right ability can really make it go far. I did feature this one actually. 2 people recommended it. I think it's a great idea. I did an offensive fake stall team with a fake merciless Toxapex, and it's so cool and so creative, but it really just doesn't have the dogs to make it work with that low attacking stat. But if you already Pokemon paralyzed, plus you work in the idea of Hex, you're just nuking everything with a very solid base 80 speed tier at +1. So I think it makes a ton of sense. Just, all you need is this Hex, honestly. There's so few resists as they are. You nuke them with Flamethrower. I love the idea. And I'm also going to spoil an idea that I think I also featured in my top 20, which was just the idea of, again, maybe not super original or exciting. You get a defensive Pokemon, you throw Corrosion and Toxic on it. Or against Stall, great against offense. Nobody likes a Toxic. And the biggest problem with Toxic is there's so many Pokemon that are immune to it between all the Poison and Steel types out there. Like a Toxapex or a Skarmory can swap it every time, or better Corviknight and pivot out with no worry. Well, great. We'll just spam Merciless. So unless you've got Natural Cure, that Pokemon is not lasting a long game against us. We love to see that. And yeah, it pairs nicely with this Chandelure that we've seen here. So I already like that idea. And then the last few I'll go over briefly. This is also one that was featured a couple times. The idea of combining Weakness Policy and Steam Engine. I think I ended up featuring a Mew because we're defensive stats. It's not weak to water type moves, but same idea. You get Stab Power Trip out of it, which is pretty nasty. Max speed +2 to begin with. There's nobody taking that Power Trip. You could easily sweep that way. A pretty specific win con, but certainly really powerful here. Actually, the last couple here, I think I featured this one and I featured this one too. So a lot of heat at the end. So okay, that's everything. Oh, and sorry, I also covered this. Briefly scroll through. You guys can see, I think there was a lot of sets that I was copying down. I figured these ones were already visualized for me, so I didn't need to transmute these down to Pokemon Showdown. But People were quick to give me their funniest sets, which, hey, that's what I'm asking for. I'm continuing to ask for it. Keep sending them my way. Send them my way. I'm recording all of them. I believe that's it. I believe that's everything. So let's talk about my favorites here. We will start with, again, something featured at the end of that fourth box there, which is an Electrify Lightning Rod Heliolisk. If you don't know what that means, Electrify changes the target's move to electric this turn. So I use Electrify, and all of their Scald becomes a electric type attack, or even something like Growl becomes an electric type attack, or even a I think like an Encore would work too. Like any type of attack becomes that. You know, Protect functions the same way, but it's now an electric type move. That's the basic idea. Protect wouldn't work as his priority, but still. And then you have Lightning Rod, so now you have immunity to that, and you're +1 all of a sudden. Crazy combination. So you're essentially, if you're faster than them, you're nullifying any possible move they could do against you. The exception being like they could Quiver Dance against you. So if I'm against Volcarona, sure I can Electrify because I outspeed them. It's kind of a 50-50, but they could very easily just Quiver Dance. Who cares what typing it is? And then they're faster than you, and they can hit you with a super strong fire attack before you can get off the Electrify on the Fire Blast. So pretty much though, if you outspeed them and you're going to continue to outspeed them, you're kind of invincible, which lets you substitute. It lets you charge up your charge beams. So between that and Lightning Rod, you're getting really strong, really fast, and you have Hyper Voice too, just for a bit of extra coverage. I would be inclined to make the Surf instead of Hyper Voice. Doesn't seem like the best combination to me as far as I know, but it's the first time I've heard of it too, so who's to say? And I included Jay Harvey as a name here because this was featured by, or the idea, I first wrote it down from UT here, but I wrote their name as Jay Harvey because they also left a comment to the same effect. So a lot of these were submitted by multiple people, and I tried to throw in a name if that was the case. But while we were on, there's like 5 in a row here actually from UT. Like he had some really cool shit here so about 5 in a row I included. Next was Corviknight with Wandering Spirit. Nothing too exciting, but in a tier where abilities are of course everything, and a tier where neutralizing gas is subsequently banned because it's such a strong anti-meta pick, Wandering Spirit becomes one of the best anti-meta abilities in the game. And it's awesome for disincentivizing Regenerator. So think about how common a a U-turn Regenerator Landorus is, or any sort of like offensive pivot that comes in and out spamming Regenerator. Regenerator are so often seen in Pokemon as a defensive ability, but I've always loved it on offensive Pokemon, like Mindshow, of course. Mindshow plays a really interesting role in the UU tier. Might be banned right now. I should know that. I don't, because it pivots in and out and offers an offensive pivot threat while still recovering health frequently, right? That's a really cool niche idea in UU with Mindshow. It is everything in AAA. It is a huge concept where these pivots can come in, threaten, do their job, and look no worse to wear until you have a Wandering Spirit Corviknight. So especially if they do just a lazy U-turn on you, trying to gain some momentum, not only are they losing 1/6 of their health, they're not regenerating any of it back. So it's a huge swing in percentage. It's about a 40% swing. And it just does, you know, Corviknight stuff otherwise. So it's a very cool defensive pivot. This was also submitted by multiple people here. Very similar to the Coco we saw, wherein you have Flame War burning you, and you have no physical attacks beside the Facade. Because I had a couple people ask that question actually on the Coco video, which is, wouldn't Toxic Orb be better so that way you're not having your attack, but it doesn't affect Facade in terms of having the attack? And if that's the only attack you have, like if you have Facade and Dragon Claw and Earthquake, then yes, Toxic Orb would be better. But if it's only Facade, the only physical attack you have on the set, similar to Coco who had Volt Switch and Roost, and that's it, Taunt maybe, then you're fine. So Fire Blast, so this is going to be an Air Late, very similar, of course, to Mega Salamence. I believe I heard that the damage it hits is even higher than Mega Salamence, which is a crazy thing to keep in mind. So at +1 Dragon Dance, you're outspeeding the majority of the metagame, except for the crazy speedsters. And you're super duper strong. Like this Facade is like 140 times 1.2. So that would be like another 28%, 168%. Plus stab, so I guess that goes from 168%. I don't know where the stab factors in. I'm guessing after the 170, so then it becomes another 85 base damage. Is that right? Jeez. And then another 50% because you're +1 with the Dragon Dance. Like craziness, utter craziness. We talked about this just a second ago. I think it's a very cool idea. I think I like the Choice Scarf one we saw in the other variant a little bit better. Love the trick, of course. A great combination with Chandelure to begin with. And yeah, I think it's just kind of a no-brainer. If you can get Pokemon hit with this, then talk about adding up base damage. This is now 130 guaranteed crit off a Pokemon with 400 special attack. Like, what else you gotta say? Terrakion, this is a really cool one. My first thought was Sniper. Sounds kind of gimmicky. There's a lot of people recommending Sniper stuff, and I like the idea, but it's not too crazy. The description that UT provided made a ton of sense, where they said, you know how Intimidate and Dauntless Shield normally check Terrakion, which is true, as we saw in the last video already. Very common abilities on things like Corviknight and Mandibuzz, which, yeah, would do a number on a banded Terrakion with adaptability. Yeah, not anymore, because now you're critting past that boost in damage. And again, speaking of ridiculous offensive stats, there you go. There you go. What more you need to say? Volcarona, we had Prankster here. This is a cool one. So, again, it didn't really make sense to me at first beat. Like, Prankster, I mean, I guess getting off the Quiver Will-O-Wisp is nice. But the basic conceit is very simple, which is if it's a physical attacker coming in, you burn them with a Prankster. If it's a special attacker coming in, you're boosting your defenses. And then you have a priority roost too. So you get both of those extremely quickly off. Odd that Bug Buzz is the chosen attack to take advantage of this. That's a little bit surprising to me. But that basic synergy of, like, no matter what type of attacker they go to, you're set. Pretty cool, honestly. Maybe Bug Buzz is just because Haze Pokemon are your only threat. So, like, either for Haze Toxapex. I'm not sure why. But we got this Palossand here. Love this idea. Nothing too exciting, but just a simple synergy of if you need a good Sandstorm setter. Excuse me. This is a very good one. It's kind of like a Toxapex in the sense that you get a bit of a strong stab, burn chance target. You have good recovery. You have 2/3. I didn't know about that. That's amazing recovery. I had no idea. Pretty strong defensive stats. You know, not Toxapex level, but you know, certainly in that can't talk Hippowdon range of defenses. Pretty solid. Again, when you have that level of recovery, that certainly helps, doesn't it? Get up rocks. And this is a cool little idea on top of it, which is if the sand is beginning to end, you can skill swap to their opponent and it extends it again. It renews the process. I don't know if I would keep this in the long term. I think this is maybe just a little bit too much sauce on a basically strong, good idea. You know, that's the thing. That's the thing with AAA in general, is oftentimes you get this amazing synergy that seems so cool, and oh my god, it's a perfect idea. But sometimes it's just stronger to go with a basic adaptability, a basic, you know, you don't have to be too saucy in this tier. You just need a smart little synergy. It's a skill swap. Again, that means you're staying in for what, 5 turns? So it seems like, what reason would this mon have for staying in for 5 turns and then to skill swap it? The only place where I think that would come up rationally is you send in Palossand, you Stealth Rock, your opponent sends in a Rillaboom. It's AAA, Rillaboom's probably not existing, but a Grassy Glide user. You pivot to your Corviknight, and then you U-turn out to your Corviknight, and you come back to Palossand. At this point, there's only 2 turns left of Sand, and you don't like that, and maybe then you skill swap. So if it comes in while Sand is already active and about to end, that can help you a bit there. But if we're comparing that to like a Toxic or a Protect or a... It doesn't have a ton of moves, honestly. Secondary coverage and Shadow Ball, I guess. Iron Defense seems a little bit gimmicky. You could Curse as a ghost type attack that would cut your opponent's health by 25% per. Also seems a little bit gimmicky. So I guess there's not a lot of alternatives, for being honest. Even Curse is kind of interesting. I just said it twice. But I thought of Curse as in the non-ghost one where it boosts your attack and defense, but ignore me. We talked about this before with the Incineroar. I just think it's pretty simple synergy between Biggest Policy, Steam Engine, and just boosting to ridiculous heights. Mew, I think, takes advantage of it a little bit better with the combination of Aura Sphere and stored power. I also like that even if somebody doesn't hit your weakness policy, you can still boost your offense pretty kindly with Calm Mind. So I think I like this one a little bit better, but the idea is still the same, which is just Steam Engine is a ridiculous move for a setup sweeper. That tracks to me. Next, we got Cloyster here. Pretty standard set for sure. I don't love the idea of a Cloyster in an AA metagame, just because if you think about it, the main thing that makes Cloyster so good beyond Shell Smash is its ability skill link. So we're now removing that, and now it's, you know, instead of a base 125 power Icicle Crash, you have an 80 or Icicle Spear. You have Icicle Crash instead. Rock Blast is not going to be good for this Pokemon going forward. Liquidation now becomes your main form of stab. So you don't love that, but I did want to feature with just the idea of Queenly Majesty. And so obviously that works well with Cloyster because Pokemon can't hit you with a Mach Punch or a Triage Drain Punch like we saw last game, or a Grassy Glide or whatever. But this is, I think, a popular thing on a lot of setup sweepers, especially Volcarona, or not even a setup sweeper, but just a mon in general. There's a lot of priority in this tier, and being straight up immune to it is crazy. Like, think about if I'm immune to Rillaboom, that's 90% of its damage just completely capped off. That mon is hard walled, like harder walled than a Corviknight walls of Rillaboom. That's a crazy bit of synergy there. So I think Queenly Majesty is just one of those things, like, seems underwhelming, but has a lot of synergy and a lot of mons. And I think I like the idea best on Volcarona, for being honest, but still pretty cool. Very, very cool. Speaking of setup sweepers, this is a pretty cool idea. Prankster Topsy-Turvy, where you invert the target stats stages. There's also a recommendation for doing, I forget the ability, but it's Azelf can copy the opponent's stat changes. So you go in with a Focus Sash, you're Oblivious, or no, oh man, I'm really funking up my names here. It's the one that Clefable, Unaware. Thank you. You have an Unaware as Azelf with a Sash, so you're not taking too much of it to begin with. You get a Sash, worst case scenario. You steal their stat stages. So if it's a Volcarona at +7, whatever, you just take all that to your Azelf and you return sweep them. Kind of like Ditto in that sense, except the Unaware means them a little bit safer to swap in. So like that idea for sure. Someone submitted this and said, is this memey or dumb? But what about a Flashfire Scizor? And I think I wanted to feature this because, you know, of course, Scizor can't take advantage of Flashfire. It's not a flashy usage of the ability at all, or a thing in this tier at all. But I just think it's a very clean fit. You take a Pokemon that's very good defensively like Scizor, a very underrated defensive Pokemon, especially when you have defensive investment like this and a set like this. You don't even need Bullet Punch because you're losing that ability now. You just take the strong knockoff utility and pivot back out. So this Pokemon is good in OU, BDSP, name your tier. It's always a solid thing. But now you take away its #1 biggest weakness in a tier that I've already mentioned has a lot of fire moves. So fire type immunity is nothing to sneeze at. I think it's just a solid synergy. There's nothing more to say there, in my opinion. This one, also mentioned this already. I just think that they putting corrosion on these pivots is a strong idea. I saw another one that was on. Oh, I'm mad at myself. I think it was Corviknight, maybe. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. Just the idea is, yeah, corrosion's good, especially if you pair it with a mon with synergy like that Merciless Chandelure. But it doesn't even have to be. There's just something to be said for just. It's good on everyone. It's a Toxic is a good move on Amandibus to begin with, but now it's just a no-brainer play against any wall you come up against. This one's a really fun one. Stench. I didn't even heard of this ability before. Those Pokemon's attacks without a chance to flinch gain a 10% chance to flinch. I believe it has synergy with Beat Up, so that means you have 60% chance to flinch off of this. I'm not positive. I could be mistaken. But that's a very cool idea. Normally, that flinch stuff requires Skill Link plus a King's Rock, and King's Rock gets banned a lot nowadays. Can't speak for this metagame, but this is a really cool one. You have to be outspeeding them, of course. It's best against enemy walls, but it's a dark type attack, so there's very few walls to begin with. And if you have one, yeah, being able to take a banded 400 base attack, beat up twice, and I think beat up is going to have like 120 something base power. Forget about it. You also can short up with other good abilities like Iron Head and Sucker Punch and Knockoff. Awesome. This one, the next three, I'm going to just dub again something in this vein of it doesn't have to be fancy to be good. That's all three are like this. Adaptability -1. I've always said these two moves are just the ultimate synergy in most Pokemon metagames. You don't even need an offensive item here. Just leftovers and sub up, and oh, you're going to Latios, Ice Crash. Oh, you're going to, you know, Toxapex, Earthquake. Oh, you're going to even a Corviknight. Ice Crash is going to do a lot of damage to you. So very fun one here. I think you probably still want to be Adamant, unless I'm mistaken. You know, 80 speed's a lot to work with anyways. So not fancy. Similarly, we saw Tinted Lens Latios get featured. We see you can do adaptability, but it's only 30%. Dragon's Maw increases your power by 50%. I've said since Gen 5, Choice Specs Latios with Draco Meteor is one of the simplest and most effective breakers in the game. Well, how about you just take that and you make it 50% stronger? So it's even doing 60% to like a Blissey. Like there's simply no resist for this beyond a fairy move, which of course you can hit with Psychic and Mystical Fire or even Trick. But if it's not immune to it, it's taking a buttload of damage. That's it. Doesn't have to be fancy. Next we got adaptability choice Zygarde here. Again, not fancy, just nothing. Takes 1,000 arrows, virtually nothing. And you know, maybe a grass type mon, whatever, but still. It's really strong to begin with, and you just give it essentially +2 to 1,000 arrows that you're hitting everything with. Not complicated. What is complicated and very fun is this Liquid Ooze Blissey. Very functionally the same as most like OU Blissies that you care to think of. But the idea is there's a lot of triage in this tier, a lot of Drain Punch users. We just take that and we instantly OHKO them with Liquid Ooze. It's stupid. I don't know if I would ever feature it, but because you're matchup fishing at that point, of course, which is always scary. But I think it's hilarious. Just that would be the most devastating thing that ever happened to you, especially with, like, imagine like it was your last Pokemon, you had a Buzzwole at like +3, and it starts spamming the triage, leech life, and drain punch, and they're like, that's it. I lined this up perfectly, and Blissey comes in and they get OHKO'd. Because it's also worth noting, you know, it's Blissey, so they're losing minimum 700 health if it's an OHKO drain punch. That's hilarious. Arctozolt, just a cool little bit of synergy here. I think we all know how good it is in Hail. I'm due for a video addressing how wrong my Hail video was, that primer. But essentially, you know, Arctozolt and Bolt Beak is very, very good in the Hail because it's doubled speed. Makes a ton of sense. What if you do that plus it doubles the power of your main stab, Bolt Beak? So I'm going to try to run the mental calcs on that. Ridiculous damage, +2, +30%, plus another 30% here with Life Orb. Crazy stuff. You lose the Blizzard aspect of it, but I never thought that was that good, IMO. This is a demonic set here. No guard Registeel seems like a weird combination, but Registeel's always good with the combination of Body Press and Stealth Rock, of course. But you can pretty much like prevent your opponent from getting off a single hit. Very paralyzed, Jirachi, Iron Head, Serene Grace, all that stuff, very esque, by doing Zap Cannon on them as they swap in. So they're guaranteed paralyzed. The damage would be nothing to speak of, but fine. And then you dynamic punch them, so they're confused too. And so, again, there's a lot of math being required in this video. I wasn't prepared for this. But so 30% of the time, you don't get paralyzed, and you have a 50% from 70% to get off attack without confusing yourself. So that's about a 35% chance of it being able to attack every time against an already demonically tanky Registeel. It's hilarious. So very funny idea right there. Last but not least, this is a popular Gengar set before Gengar got banned, if I remember correctly. And it's normalize Haunter here. So similar also to that very first Heliolisk, that's it. You swap in, you're a very fast Pokemon, base 95 speed. Not that fast, actually. I thought it was a little bit faster, for being honest. The point is, still rather fast. You skill swap them, or no, actually, no. Let me start over completely. You send in Haunter. Let's say they send in a Toxapex. They should probably expect something's up. But anyways, they send in Toxapex, you mean look them to prevent them from swapping out. Fantastic. Then you skill swap, so they get normalized, which changes all of your attacks to normal type, and they're more powerful, which is fine. But now they're trapped in against a ghost type, and they can only use normal type attacks. That's pretty lovely. Even Toxic is not going to work unless they're Corrosion, because you're poison type here, which is great. They can just slowly whittle them down with Shadow Ball and Dazzling Gleam. So again, if you're faster and you can get up the mean look first on the swap, you're pretty set. So that's a cool one to finish off here. A couple there from Hanji in general, actually. And yeah, so thank you everyone for submitting your sets. I'm going to do another 20 next time I cover AAA. Maybe not 20, because we're already 23 minutes in the video. That's a bit long. I don't know, I'll mess with that number. I'll do whatever feels right here. And now we're going to team build using some of these sets here. And I'm still kind of new to the AAE tier, so if you'll forgive me for being a bit boring, I'm just going to use this basic core we talked about last time I covered AAA. I just feel like some people would be okay, I'm sure, me just throwing in 6 random mons and going off and trying to make it work or whatever. Or I'm sure I could also team build something a little bit more original if I gave myself an hour or something to do so and looked at the tier and looked at counters and stuff like that. I want to give myself a bit of a breather here. Maybe I'll throw in that Corviknight here, actually. That'll give me something a bit more creative. So we'll do this. We'll paste you and delete you. Very cool. I think I'll keep these 2, but if you're Rocky Helmet, do I still need you to be that? I could instead make you like lefties or boots. Boots you don't need though, because you're already taking 6% from rocks. Are you boots? You are, yeah. So maybe I'll just make you lefties. I think I'll make you lefties and then protect over roar with a little bit more synergy there. I always like having a protect user in this tier as well. That we can kind of scout out what jank they're going for here. Not having roar is a little bit scary though, if I'm being honest, but we'll give it a whirl. We'll give it a whirl. We'll give it a whirl. What could go wrong? Now I'm just going to choose 3 offensive things from this tier and try to combine them with some sort of synergy here. So to start off, I'm going to go to, Well, actually, I'm already on this almost any ability page. If you're looking for this page, which has all the samples and stuff like that, just Google almost any ability Smogon forums. And then I'm going to look at the viability rankings. Control F, viability. Damn it. Ah, yes, I scrolled right by it. So you go to the resources thread, and then you go to the viability rankings. Excellent. Okay, so now I'm just going to try to construct a team or a three-headed offensive core that can beat these Pokemon. That's my goal. Zygarde that highly ranked. We already talked about that set. That's pretty cool, actually. I love that. And did they already remove Genesect? They did not. Oh, I'm catching UT slipping here. Come on, unnerved Talonflame. What are you doing? So we talked about it a lot, and I guess the first thing I really want to try is just that combination of Chandelure with a different Mon. But I think it would be best paired on a Corviknight or something. So maybe I'll just copy this team. And then on this one, instead of being Wandering Spirit, Rocky Helmet, I will make you Merciless. You get Toxic, right? You must. No, you're one of the few Pokemon that doesn't get Toxic. That's crazy. So I'll make you Mandibuzz. And change things a little bit. We needed some sort of Steel type on this team going forward. But I'll still go Heavy Duty Boots, Merciless, Toxic. I feel like you don't need an attack if you got Toxic. You're still set up bait. That's a tough question. And I'll just steal their version. And if it doesn't work out, I'll blame them. Oh, the team, the Mon was bad. Not my fault. Come on. Okay, so we'll do that. And then I'll also throw in that Chandelure on this course. So I'll put out two teams that will alternate in this live here. And then I'll steal you. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, we can alternate. That's a fun idea. And looking at these defensive threats, I'm wondering who would best wall this Chandelure. The best option is, of course, going to be a normal type Pokemon like Chansey or Blissey, because they resist our ghost type attacks. Now, we will still crit them with our fire type attacks if they're poisoned. Should work fine. And actually, unlike most regular Chanseys and Blissies, who are essentially status immune with natural cure, they will stay toxic, which is pretty impactful. But I was just looking at the damage here, and the damage literally goes from 20%, which is hilariously low, to 30%, like as a top roll. So we make that Specs. We're getting in that range, but I think the goal here is you just trick them, which is doubly effective against the Chansey, of course, because then you would take their Eviolite. But yikes, that's not the damage you're really looking for. Mandibuzz, how much would we do against Mandibuzz here? Mandibuzz, defensive. We're Merciless, and they are poisoned. That's much more in our range. Even Hex is 2 at KOing. So maybe we throw. That's the thing. I don't even think I lose against Blissey because we have Trick, but that puts a lot of pressure on us to nail that play. I wonder if there's anything else we could do that would help out a little bit in those matchups. My next concern is I'm pretty sure that a Primordial Sea Bear Scuda or any other physical water type attacker, although looking at it, I don't think there's very many of those. Even just a Flip Turner kind of spammer kind of works this team. So I wonder if there's a Mon that can help us. So either grass type like Dalmise is interesting. Well, let's actually look through my teams here is the best thing I should be doing. Scroll up. Is there anybody that is water resist? Salamence is okay, actually. That's a good one. Heliolisk used to be. That's funny. It's not anymore. I always get caught on that. Cloyster would be, but I don't know if I want to feature that set specifically. Latios would be, but that's a pretty offensive set. Not much if I'm looking for a water resist. In fact, most of these mons are also weak to water moves. So we're probably going to draw from here instead. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know, you do something like a Dalmise, or I'm sure Tapu Bulu would be great with Triage. There's lots of great ideas you could do here. Even a Dragon type would be fine, especially if it was a defensive one like a Latias. But I'm just thinking my big concern is just flip turn spam in general, right? Which is great. I go to my resist on the Latios and they still can pivot to their counter very easily. So what I need is immunity to water type attacks. You can do a water absorb, or of course the classic in this tier is Desolate Land. I bet if I press Control F on Desolate Land, I get 20 hits. There's a couple recommended here, but let's try to build our own. We'll search Fire. And who here would benefit most from Desolate Land? Everybody is the answer. I might do that Cinderace set we used earlier. I love the idea of that as a pivot. Entei is very fun. We had a couple of recommendations for Entei using coverage. Like you could run Pixelate or Refrigerate and use that with extreme speeds. It's a really strong +2 priority attack, taking advantage of its great offensive stats. And so there's no real counter for it. That's pretty great. Oh, maybe my favorite Pokemon. Top 3 for me, at least. Always looking for a way to make it work. So, you know, it's losing one of its already strongest things in that. But what if you did... And you'd be asking, why would you use Arcanine instead of Entei? That's because of a little move called Teleport here. Don't ask me why it gets it. It's insane. But you go Heavy Duty Boots, I think, of course, with Desolate Land. So your attacks are +1. And defensively, you are... Oh, you have your Morning Sun. So your healing is great. That's awesome. You're water immune all of a sudden. That's fantastic. I think you could just Flamethrower, honestly. It's not exciting. And then I go... Toxic? What's the best third move for you, Arcanine? I don't even know. Toxic, Will-O-Wisp, I think is a smart one, of course. The question is, what kind of wall is this, right? Like, what am I making it physically defensive? Because if it's physically defensive, Will-O-Wisp is a good match because you're coming up physical attackers and subsequently threaten them out with a Will-O-Wisp. I could do Solar Beam for coverage on like a Swampert that comes in. Screw it, let's do that. That's hilarious. That's too funny. I'll do this. Do I even care about your speed tier so much? Teleport, Morning Sun, Flamethrower. I just want to outspeed Swampert, who is running min speed for Flip Turn anyway. So like, I don't even have to worry about that. We're never outspeeding the other Flip Turners. Who would I even care about outspeeding, honestly? Not much. Garchomp is outspeeding us to begin with. Yeah, I think I might feel okay to go more defensive stats, which is fun. Although the Solar Beam is really only for water type Pokemon. We're kind of already messing up, but it's solely for Swampert, if we're being honest. The Swampert's a great answer to this Mon. You can Flip Turn. Okay, you come in with the immune Desolate Land. Great, I'm just gonna Earthquake you anyways. But it's fallen off a little bit, as we already talked about in the last video. So I wonder if it's as needed, but I'll do it anyways. And I'll go with, again, our speed doesn't matter for against Swampert. And I'll give you just some more speed def, because why not? Okay, that's fun. You know, I get to include my favorite Pokemon. That's cool. And you have a bit of fire synergy here with Chandelure and Arcanine. Now, this is the easiest part of the team build, easiest/hardest, where you just have to look for what single Pokemon gives this team as it exists trouble, and what can we do to answer that. Our team is pretty defensive so far, honestly. 4 defensive pivots and Chandelure. You could actually make the argument that Arcanine should have Toxic 2 instead of Solar Beam. I think that is actually optimal because it's going to synergize with Chandelure a little bit better. Even on Swampert, that's better. Damn it, I just talked myself out of a cool set. That's devastating. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we got that up. And then the last Mon, who gives me so much trouble here? I'm just gonna work through it one by one. Mew, we can beat with this. Tapu Koko, we should outspeed and beat with you. Your Scarf, right? Yep. Garchomp's Scarf gives me trouble, but I've got 2 Mons who should be able to handle it okay. Genesect is gone. He's dead. Goodbye. We'll never see you again. Heatran's got Desolate Land. Same, bruv. Chansey is a problem. I would like a strong physical attacker, I think, is the next thing. I could honestly just make this guy Flare Blitz too and have a little bit more offensive pressure. Maybe we'll do that just because there's a lot of special attackers so far. Just the one. I don't know. Depending on the last Mon, I will change this. That's for sure. Terrakion's always a glue Mon. Zygarde, I like the idea of 2. That's really interesting. Okay, and for this one, I just want the combination of Electrify and Lightning Rod in the Heliolisk. The big thing it suffers with is, of course, going to be setup Mons. So we got that Unaware, Psych Up, Azelf that I was struggling to remember the names of before. And pretty fun idea, I think. Very specific set. I wouldn't be surprised if we come up against things that uniquely beat us. But it's fun regardless. I've also got the Wandering Rocky Helmet Corviknight there. Really cool tech there. In addition to this ultra wall breaker Bisharp here. So that's a good start here. Let's just get into it and get some games going. I want to try this one first. It's taking me a beat to find it there. I don't know how it's going to work. You know, again, I'm I'm not playing a lot of AA nowadays. I'm excited to get back into it with all these cool submissions. And you are going to be a problem, Zapdos. Holy. Well, let's go to... I can always put the Corviknight. Let's start with... Oh, who actually outspeeds Heliolisk off the rip? Almost nobody. And if that's a Tapu Koko with the right ability, we're in trouble. I will electrify. Is it? It's just this turn, right? Okay. I feel like you're going to do some setup stuff. Oh, that couldn't have gone any better. So there's Scarf too, which is hilarious. I'll just Charge Beam this turn. I'm guessing we'll see Blissey. Let's get to +2. Very nice. Electrify. Thank you. Let's do it again. You have nothing. You have nothing to defeat me. What's your answer, pal? I guess we'll see Mew coming again, and I'll just get nuked by my Hyper Voice. That's so funny. Extra Joel's the play. Are you also Scarf? I want to risk the Electrify. Nice. Okay, I see you. Let's Hyper Voice once. I'm outspeed them, so even if they attack this turn, whatever. I can't just click it forever. It's just like the worst. It's 50-50. I'm at 800 special attack. In comes Mew. Great, we'll get the kill here. It's the only thing that outspeeds me, I'm pretty sure. Great. Zapdos Galar they haven't gone to, notably. Actually, Tapu Koko will outspeed me for sure, but I don't think he can Oko me. Oh, thank God it's Orb wasn't up. So that was a big threat to my team, so getting that out is pretty nice. That's got to be nice. Well, that went right to plan. Let's do one more with it. That's definitely one of the funnier things I've seen in a minute. We got another one here. We even got a viewer. Let's do... Man, if we get the right matchup with, off the rip, we could definitely do some Demoglio. We're great versus you, and you, and you, and you. I want to risk it. I think I'm still okay with this. It's nothing of a fighting move, which is a pretty big if. Mew off the rip is so scary in this tier, man. But I think this going for hazards. Oh, you're dead. 1. Oh, what? 18% to 6%? What a roll. We're outspeeding them, so that's nice. So they were Corrosion. Fair enough, but we outspeed. There is no swap in. This will get a kill. Crazy they didn't get flinched, actually. Rhydon's the play. Let's get your tank. Oh my god, this is doing nothing, honestly. On a banded Bisharp? What are you? But we're gonna flinch you, brother. I don't care. I don't know if Stench works this way, actually. I probably could have tested it in advance. Nice. There's no way it's just 10%. If we get another flinch, I'm gonna guess it's more than 10%. We're also looking at the computer right now like, wait, how did it flinch me? We get another one, I'm gonna die. Or they're gonna die. There's no way all of these mons can tank this banded beat up this well. Jeez. Okay. Well, we get one more. Okay, we don't. Fine by me. Let's go to you, and then I'll substitute because I definitely know something's funky. I expect to protect, honestly. Then I will... Okay, in comes Rhydon. Fair enough. Let's electrify. Oh, see, that's a good example of it working for us. That's so funny. That is so funny. What do you even do about that? We also gotta get rid of these rocks if we want this Focus Sash Azelf to pop off. But even then, I wonder if I should have made it more defensively statted, but oh well. I'll just keep doing this until I get... This thing was weirdly tanky. So, okay, Zygarde comes in. Good chance he outspeed me, so I'll trade this. Nope, never mind. As they go for Coil and go to Zygarde complete. Interesting. We should be able to get a 2-hit KO here at +2. No, not even. Terrifying. This is 50-50. I'm going to substitute. I think they're going to Coil here. Okay. That one. Coil. Okay, very nice. I'll sub here on a Coil. You're gaining health throughout all this, it's worth noting. Okay, I think they're just down to trade here, which is fine. I'll try to get up to full. I don't think you can kill me. charge beam. Damn, I was wrong. I wonder what that ability is. Okay, we got to go to you. That was a pretty bad trade because Zygarde got a lot of health back in that bargain. That thing's got so much HP, it's going to be scary going forward. All their mons are low, so rocks are looking pretty choice right now. I should be flip turning, but we get Rhydon here. Okay, I'll Earthquake because I feel like... I guess it's just Eviolate because Rhydon's got crazy defensive stats and then like Water Absorb or something. It's fine. I'll U-turn. I'm not going to defog yet because I think rocks are actually a little bit better for us right now. This is purely just relying on a defensive core at this point too, which is scary. Yeah, we really only have offense in this team from these two, but I've said it before. I'm pretty confident in this defensive core. Essentially a Ditto and Azelf, but should any of these mons try to set up on us, we are well situated. I'll protect on the energy ball. Yup. And then I guess Blissey. So Vaporeon comes in. It's Toxic here. Very choice. And then are you gonna flip turn on me? Guess I'll teleport. Teleport and Seismic Toss are a toss up. Wonder if they would Toxic me. Fair enough. Azelf is useless. Honestly, this is a pretty memey set. Okay, we'll do this and Brave Bird. I can outlast you. They wish. They wish protect. I'll roost. Yeah. Nice. They've got to be swapping out this turn. Jeez, gutsy. They could be flip turning. Don't have... They wish again. Jeez, dude. I don't know about that. I'll EQ. They're faster than me, right? Because we're min speed, so we get our slow flip turns off. Who's the play? Oh, no. Menace. Flip turn here. And then... Oh, actually, do I want them to set up so I can steal with Azelf? Not really. Not really. They could go, like, they'd have to be pretty big for Azelf to make a difference in this 1v1. Yeah, jeez. That might be my win con, honestly. Can they Oko Blissey at this point already? Probably. I'll defog so we can keep... At this point, I want rocks off, which is bad because it'd be great versus these three here. And Chandelure already was great. But their Stealth Rocker's gone. Mine's alive. I'll U-turn as they glare. Very nice. Flip turn. I'm just trying to get them to boost. They're paralyzing my whole team, which sucks. This whole gambit is on Azelf now. Like everything. I'm falling for this hook, line, and sinker. Fair. God, we don't get parried. I'll go for rocks here. Why not? Tech. They do it again. Nice. Generator Blissey. I'm going to risk it. I don't know. Probably doesn't matter so much. Nice. We go to you. Who I'm going to need? I need to sack one wall probably at this point. Risky protect. Why not? Nope. Okay, you're the one I go for then. This is good. This is going to get it for Roy. That's probably. Oh, I thought it took them. Oh, that's not great. Oh, well. Done business. Oh, no way it did that much. There's no way it did 57. Unbelievable. So unaware means it ignores their defense boosts? I didn't know it worked like that. DT unaware. That's even better than I thought. This is a perfect answer. When taking or doing damage. Unbelievable. This is huge. What do you do? What do you do if you're my opponent? Please hit. Please hit. Nice. They're getting in Chandelure now. I think I'll get Blissey actually. And on the discussion of which mons to keep, definitely want Blissey because Chandelure pops off everyone else. And that paralyzation on Azelf was big too, actually. You go to you, and then do I Toxic? Doesn't it go into Heligo, which they shouldn't. Fair. This is now a messy game, actually. Teleport, get my Regenerator out. I think I've got Regenerator and they don't. Was that what? Wait, what it was Vaporeon? I don't really know. Then we'll Roost. Can't believe that, but Zygarde's only 50%, which is not ideal. I'll U-turn as they go to Zygarde again. So if they are, yeah, they were regenerated. Okay. That's the Corviknight right there. That's it featured. I lose to this 1v1. I'm just gonna. This could be another 20 turns, but I lose. Let's just give it up there. That was a cool. That's a cool loss in my books because we got to show off everything we wanted to see with that set. It's pretty nice. Enough for the paralysis, that would have been a 6-0, but oh well. What a team I'm looking at here. Okay, well, let's go to our looking at, I guess, Swampert. Get a Baroxan flip turn on you. Basic bitch Swampert. We love it. We stand it. We bird up. What? Is a sticky web. Fair enough. Let's flip turn, and I got defog and Mandibuzz, right? Do I want to do that? It'd be nice for Mamo, for sure. It will be nice for Chandelure eventually, but that's in the end game. Interesting. Well, I'm gonna go to you for now. I'm faster, so I can get substitute up. As long as you're not like last Gambit, this works for me. If they're last Gambit, this is not gonna be nice. Yeah, no thank you, sir. And then just pop off with adaptability, I guess. No true answer on the team. They should be swapping. And if I'm swapping, I'm guessing they're going to. And Mamoswine's not going to mind this team. Haunter, I'm immediately fearing that normalized set. I can't let anybody get mean looked. Okay, I was going to say this is the one mod who can take the Earthquake, probably. Can you take the follow-up Ice Shard? Prankster? Okay, so they really care about the... I didn't love the webs up, if I'm being honest, so I'm totally down for that. Swampert's still full health. They'll be able to get that up in the future. Who do they not want that for? Maybe it's a Sash Haunter? Maybe. I bet it's Sash. Watch this. Yeah. Their team just loses to this Mamoswine. This Mamoswine's the epitome of, like, it might not be pretty, but it's good. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. It ain't honest, but it's much. Oh, brother. I bet Heliolisk is the same set we were using. I bet these are all gimmick sets, if we're being honest. Oh, that's so funny. Earthquake here. This could be like the same set as I'm using. It could be a banded Bisharp like we had earlier. How can you possibly beat Bolt Hunt? I'll bite. Okay. So they have maybe multiple Electrify users? Yo, this is literally our Heliolisk. That's crazy. Well, I'll get my damage here. What if there's like 2 of them? Scarf, so we're faster, and I will Hex. Why not? I need the accuracy. And Shuckle comes, and I guess I go to... He doesn't love status, actually. Toxic kind of mangles us. This substitute here is annoying. Because Electrify 6-0s you. I don't even know if they're Electrified. They could be anything. But Electrify 6-0s you, destroys you. This is the only one who can beat it. Not fun. Put a Blissey to Electrify. Nice. So I called that right. They really love this set. And I just trick for the win. Oh, no. Well, it does cripple this guy long term, which is nice. But now we're outsped. I could just lose to Heliolisk right now. I want to trick it back. I need that shit back. Thank you. I go for webs, which I will defog subsequently. Although defog might not even work against Electrify Heliolisk. If they go to Heliolisk right now, I could be in trouble. Oh, lordy. If they go to Heliolisk right now, I'm in huge trouble. Okay, nice. Fog. Actually, I'll Toxic you, because that works nicely. And then I'll defog. Fair enough. Toxic and Infestation is a weird combination on you here. And they're Iron Barbs. Okay. We'll Roost here. Again. Where's defog? I think corrosion ends this turn, or I think this stuff ends this turn. I'll defog here. I roost and then I defog again, I guess. But they should just mash the Hewebs at this point. They die this turn. I don't have to die this turn, but I gotta defog now. Yeah. Then I'll go to Heliolisk and electrify my defog. Okay, they should just mashed They made a mistake. They die. And I go to Chandelier on the win. I hope. God. Trick for the win. Please. Please. Okay, that's fine. Let's see who wins. GG. Stressful one. Whew. And I don't know where I'm at in the recording because I was editing around the team building so much. But I think I'll do one more. Nah, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. We got to feature some really cool sets today. We got to take advantage of a couple of them. Merciless Chandelier didn't really get to go off, I guess. But it was still fun regardless. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you leave more of these awesome sets. I really appreciate you guys leaving all that. I kind of framed everything as me complaining about you guys leaving too much, but it is honestly really cool that when I ask for some cool ideas, you guys drop them in the triple digits. That's really awesome. So keep it up. I'm going to try to, every time I do a live, feature as many of these as I can, and team build around them subsequently. So I hope to see more of that. I'll catch you later though. Take it easy.